Good morning, good morning. I'm Jocelyn, pelvic floor physical therapist and the host of the group here. And I just want to say I missed you guys. I've been wanting to come on for the last week plus, but I just it felt wrong to me, and I was in a state of like processing what was going on in the world, state of reflection, and trying to understand my emotions regarding my lack of action, I suppose, with what's going on with the police brutality, Black Lives Matter. So I decided to just step away for a bit and reflect on, okay, if I come on, what am I going to talk about? Well, you know, I started my business and I launched my business in September of 2019, and I have yet to bring on any help. It's just me. And so at this point of my business, I'm barely like, I'm a business, but I'm barely a business. But I just, I had to think about where I fit into this equation. So let me just be upfront. I stand against brutality against any human being. And I think that there's so much that I need to learn in terms of the systemic racism in the world. A lot of you aren't even from the States. And I was talking to a friend of mine that lives in Switzerland, and she's like, it is really, really bad in Switzerland. And so this isn't just a United States issue. I think it's ingrained in our DNA to congregate with people that are like us. And I think that was very helpful back in the Stone Age days when human beings or our evolving species, it was life or death. Like if you were kicked out of the tribe, you were basically toast. But our world is different now, so we have to evolve. And I think in certain cases, just congregating with people that are like us is really limiting. So whenever I left my job in September and I started my own business, I was a lost soul. Like, I literally sat in my car every day and cried and asked myself, what am I doing? And at that point, I thought, I am so grateful that, growing up, I've always been immersed in groups that were different than me. From socioeconomic status, my parents put me in different groups. Like, I hung out with the richest, I've hung out with the poorest, I've hung out with mostly all blacks, mostly all whites, a mixture in between, Asians, I mean, everyone. And that was really helpful because I never really, it didn't make sense to me why a skin color or how much money people made was a factor that separated people. So at this point in time, like how it affects me presently is I had to really, I guess, accept that my perception was, oh, I'm not that way. I accept everyone. But I never really spoke up, or I never had a reason or an opportunity where I needed to speak up, I guess. I don't know. It's a really challenging subject to reflect on, but one big thing comes to mind whenever I was a little girl, not little, but like I was in grade school and middle school. I actually did wish I was black because I was a high-level basketball player, and it made me so upset that every new gym that I walked into, where it was, it wasn't just white girls, it was black girls, it was white girls, it was Asian girls, it was girls that were in college that we were playing against. It was boys. I was on the boys team. I hated. It really bothered me that I was initially judged because I was white. And I was almost, sometimes it felt like I was excluded in certain camps because I was white. And so I wished I was black. I was like, it would just be easier. I would just feel more comfortable in my skin. And so present day, I was reflecting, okay, what if I did get what I wanted out of that? My sole, like, why I wanted it was I wanted to fit in. So present, if I was black, I would go, I posted about this a little over a week ago. I posted how most stores I'd be in, I'd be the minority. It wouldn't be as easy to find the things that I wanted based on my culture or products, beauty products. I can't open up an anatomy text and see pictures that hi Laurie, how you doing? I'm sorry for being absent, but I wouldn't be able to open an anatomy text and see models that looked like me. I wouldn't be able, so now I like certain things. I prefer seeing a female provider because of just the relatability. I know this is a whole nother topic that for discussion, but it wouldn't be as easy to go to a healthcare provider and know that I would be able to find someone that was like me, that understood my cultural things about my culture. I wouldn't be able to open that anatomy text to see a model. I wouldn't be able to go into the skilled nursing facilities without my badge, without being questioned. I would probably think twice about wearing certain pieces. Like I posted specifically about my Bose headphones. Like it would probably question, like, is someone going to think I stole these? I will say that I'm on guard all the time around police officers because of things that I know that have been done to women, but it would be that much worse. And I saw something like, it was on BuzzFeed. It was really good. It was like, put a finger down if you've ever gotten pulled over for a reason that you should have been let off but weren't, because of you just weren't. And I know that I've never been let off, like, ever. And so, but still, I probably have a heck of a better chance than my black counterparts, which is so wrong. So going through each of the things that my white privilege, or whatever we want to call it, was really difficult, and it made me think, like, wow, what if I did get what I wanted? So I'm at the point in my business where I am not at a point where I can be donating. I could barely I can't pay myself right now, but I know in the future, I know that we all have niches, right? But it doesn't mean that I can't be collaborating with other providers to create movements where not just black women, but women of all different skin tones, ethnicities, and all of that, they have the access to resources and help, at least from a healthcare perspective, that are not currently available. So aside from that, when I was in my when I left my job and I was really spiraling and trying to figure out what I was doing, where I was going, I told myself that I needed to do things differently. So I needed to go through all of my perspectives that I currently had and ask myself, where did this perspective come from? Is it serving me? And if it's coming from someone else other than myself, how do I learn new? This is the meat of this talk. And so at that point in time, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna hang out and get to know with every type of person that I can, and really go through those perspectives that seem to have such a grip on my perception of money, relationships, and health and fitness than that I could, because that's the big thing people spend money on from a business. It's money. People want money, people want connection, and people want to be well. And so since then, I think the turning point was December. I've talked about this in my podcast, and I've talked about this pretty openly. Since December, I think I started really doing that, hanging out with completely people of different backgrounds, upbringings. They have different belief systems, and oh my gosh, every new person, so I've probably hung out with, I don't know, and developed pretty close relationships with at least almost 10 people, like close relationships. Totally different in every aspect of life. And I feel like I am a whole new person. It's like everything that I needed to fully let go of the things that you just kind of take with you from growing up in a small town, I have been able to let go. And every single one of those people, while, we might not believe in the same thing, they've taught me a newfound respect of the power of diversity and how we as a human species grow when we come together with mutual respect and just a willingness to ask questions and learn. And so it doesn't make sense to me why, so it does make sense to me. I know that I didn't allow myself to explore and challenge these perspectives out of fear of what my community would think. Should they, I have said this multiple times to my patients. I'm like, I don't even know if I can right now date a white man, because at the time I was frustrated that to get funding for, say, a new business idea in fem technology, the allocation of resources were indefinitely biased and not given to women entrepreneurs. And it's just known as like white men have the money and they have the power. And so I was bitter about this inequality just between white men and women in general. And so I tell my patients, like, I'm looking for someone that doesn't look like me. Not blonde. I want them to have darker skin, darker hair, probably some sort of dialect that they're not from the US. And, growing up, I have to shout out to my parents. My parents, and even my sister, so they have been so like, hey, we will accept you, who you are, who you bring in. So make sure they're a good person. So that has been helpful, but my grandparents are still alive. And, there's always that, like, we just want you to have a better life. Cop out. I don't know if cop out's the right word, but it was just like, if you bring home a black man, you are going to have a harder life. And the truth of the matter is, I hate to even admit it, but they're right. Just based on how our world is. But I do think it's a harder life because of how systemically fearful we are of different, which is so, I think, limiting in our growth as a human species. But anyways, I still like, I'm attracted to different because I've seen how different has completely changed my life, and my gentleness that I approach not only my personal relationships but also my relationships in business, and just how I can create a safe space for anyone that comes into the room. And it's an energy, you guys. It totally is an energy. When you have fear, people that are in tune to energies can feel it, and maybe not even in tune to energies. They just know, like, there's something off about this person, and we don't know why, or I don't know why. But back to this whole thing, like, when it comes to pelvic health, I think so many people are afraid of something that holds back their 360-degree healing. So pelvic health is a complex area of health, you guys. It's not just a pelvic floor physical therapist discipline. It's me, it's urologists, it's urogynecology, gynecology, primary medicine. Well, I feel like I'm primary care here. Fitness, health, wellness. It's so many facets of health and wellness. And so oftentimes when people come see me for their first encounter with me, if they don't know anything about me other than, hey, this girl helps, she's the best for active women, they don't know that I am a person that will indefinitely turn you away if there is resistance to other domains that is going to impact your prognosis with me. So what do I mean by that? Well, let's say you're a mom, you're eight weeks postpartum, and you want to get back to running, but to your core, the biggest driver is an issue with body image. It's this drive, whatever is driving your behavior, to either not listen to me or to skip steps, is ultimately going to harm you, and I do not want to feed into that. So I offer resources just to get you what you need, to make you the safest, to give you the best chance. But I plant the seeds of, hey, here's what 360-degree healing means. Now, what does that have to do with race or being different? Well, I think where this comes in is like caring what other people are, how other people are influencing you, if that makes sense. So let's say, for example, you're in a relationship and you're fearful, whether it's communicated, sometimes it's communicated from the partner, sometimes it's not. Are you fearful that your partner is going to leave you if you don't have this body that you're fabricating in your mind to get back to? And that's that fear of how other people think. And ultimately, the most important person you have to answer to is yourself. And when you can stand for something that you believe in, yes, it's not as easy as I'm like speaking about it, but then you can really take leaps forward in so many domains of your life. But that requires you to ask really hard questions like, are the people in my life serving me? Am I in an environment, a loving, accepting environment that embraces being different and utilizing the difference between individuals to come together as a stronger group, whether that's a family, whether that's a religious community, whether that's a gym community, a healthcare community, collective. So when we can embrace different and really take good look at our values, I think that we can ultimately become such a stronger species. So, in summary, I haven't made a lot of money in the last 6 months, or since September, but I have learned the principles and values that I want as I live my life personally and professionally through, to make it through the long game and help people across the long game, rather than this when urgency is among myself and among my team, my future team. You know, if you feel like there's something you want to explore in your life, or you know, you come up with a judgment on something, on a topic or an issue, instead of, you know, jumping to that and going with it, let's say someone chooses to, this is a controversial issue, it's the first thing that's popping in my mind, and I don't support either way, to be honest, but I'm just coming up with an issue, is vaccinations for kids. Oh, that's weird. Or, oh, that's blank. I want you to stop right there and ask yourself why you think that way. Is your opinion on this topic something that you just heard from the media, from your family, from some other group, or did you do the research and figure out, one, is this something that is along the lines of your values? Do you even have values or life principles that you're living by? And how can you become curious so that you're not judging your sister, whether that's your actual sister or not? We're all brothers and sisters in this world and in between. And when you start worrying about you and not the choices that other people make, you're going to see a big shift in your life and in your relationships. So I stand against discrimination. I stand against judging people for their what they do with their religion, who they love, their color of their skin, what country they are from. I stand against systemic political issues that are deep-rooted in old traditions that are no longer, they're so archaic. I stand against that. I stand against inequality of every regard. And I hope that my business grows, that I can, you know, be a more actively supportive figure in, you know, whether it's Black Lives Matter, whether it's June Pride Month, whether it's helping the LGBTQIA community, whether it's something with giving access to care to whatever groups that are considered at a disadvantage. But, you know, that's where I'm at. So if that turns you off, by all means leave the group, because this is an inclusive group. And if you have any suggestions, like how can I be a better mentor to you guys, please leave it in the comments, because I know that there are people of all different races, ethnicities, not genders. I don't let men in the group. But yeah, I'm open to your suggestions. I'll be back probably tomorrow. I hope you have a wonderful Monday and a wonderful week, and I'll see you next time. Real Talk with Vagina Doc.